Greetings, everybody, from Global Radio TV. We are in for a special treat today. Brittany Pelaez with the financialfitnessmovement.com. You can find it online. She has built a multiple six-figure business in less than 3 years. That's very impressive. And this is from nothing. She's not a trust baby. It's quite the opposite. In fact, she came from a Cuban family, and she understands how here in this country we don't have enough financial education to get us fit, and we love curating people that can bring value to our lives. So welcome, Brittany, and share with us what you can about the entrepreneurship, what people should be considering now if they want to create wealth and have it stably for themselves the rest of their lives.
Definitely. So thank you for that. One thing about this country is for you to really to get ahead financially, income is very, very significant. It's how much are you making? Cost of living goes up every year, so you have to make sure that every single year you're making more money. Most incomes don't increase every year. And the only way you can guarantee that happens is by having a business for yourself. So writing your own paycheck guarantees that every single year you can compound your income and make sure that you're creating the wealth that you came here for.
And you know, the slides that you had showed the other night, I was very impressed with. You were mentioning that because of the baby boomers and the age that they're becoming, there's actually a really huge need for financial services, correct?
Yeah. So one thing, if you're going to get into business, you have to look at market opportunity, right? It's like you have to be at the right time, at the right place at the right time. And so if you're looking at business right now in our industry, it's 10,000 people a day turning 65. For the next 20 years, it's 76 million baby boomers retiring. And if you think about it, most people have no idea what to do with their retirement. There's 401ks out there, there's pensions, we just don't know what to do with it. And so it's a $45 trillion wealth transfer that's happening in the next 20 years. And that's what we're set up for. We're here to educate people on how to set up their financials so that they have guaranteed income in their retirement.
And they're saying if you look at it as a sector, had you gotten into, let's say, diapers or Barbie, a lot of those companies in the 50s and 60s when these baby boomers were becoming born, a lot of the industries that supported that type of a population really grew at that time. And yeah, share with us a little about a few of these other companies, because there was a cycle every 10, 20 years. It was this type of...
So the boomers, the baby boomers, everybody knows who they are, obviously, because it's just a huge generation of people, and it's 76 million people. Just stay in front of what they need next, and you can create wealth for yourself. So the examples that she's talking about is, Gerber, Johnson & Johnson, even Mattel. Barbie came out in 1959. We didn't even have Barbie before that. So and look who they are today. Gerber, Johnson & Johnson, 50 years later, they're global brands. Another example is, the 60s. These 76 million teenagers now, the Ford Mustang came out in 1964. So, and now they're global brands as well. So if you follow what the baby boomers need next, you're going to create wealth for yourself if you're set up for it. And so right now, if you've worked hard in this country 30, 40, 50 years, you need financial education. You're worried about your finances, who's going to take over your business. Now you're realizing that insurance is important. You probably should have gotten it years ago. So we're helping that generation with everything.
I had learned, which I was probably a little ignorant about, annuities as a financial instrument, that you can actually, you said, get a paycheck every month of your life if you know how to funnel your money into that, or how to get the correct life savings or term insurance to sort of guarantee all the income that you've made your whole life to protect your assets, right? Would you share a tip about that, because I wasn't as familiar with those terms.
So most people know, put some money at the banks or real estate or stock market. That's pretty much what most people know. But annuities are retirement vehicles. It's the only tool in the world that does what it does. And most people don't know about them or know how they work. They guarantee you a payment for the rest of your life. It comes from the word annual. So you get an annual payment, and it's basically creating your own pension. Social Security is a guaranteed payment in retirement, and pension plans guarantee a payment for the rest of your life. But most people don't have pensions anymore, and Social Security is pretty much going to be wiped out. So an annuity is a way for you to guarantee your own pension in retirement, which is pretty cool.
So something that you really emphasized during the presentation is that they don't teach this in school. Nobody teaches financial know-how. So a lot of times, especially, I'm from parents from a communist country, yourself as well. We just don't have this knowledge at our disposal, even from going to college. You studied finance. It's just not at people's disposal. So I love how you're empowering the public and explain a little about what you're doing now.
Yeah, so we're completely disrupting the financial industry. I've been in the industry for 8.5 years, started with the corporate world, I won't even mention the company's names, but traditionally, the traditional industry is very disconnected from the people. It's very technical, very aggressive. It just, most people don't understand it. And so what we're doing is we're making it very, very simple for you to understand, kind of like the ABCs of finance. This stuff should be taught in high school. What an IRA is, how to save in insurance policies, how to get out of debt. We actually help people with their credit card debt and their student loans. Why not get into debt, which right now we're being sold into getting into school loans. I mean, that's become a business in itself. And the reality is you shouldn't be getting into debt. So we're making it very fun and entertaining. I partnered with a firm, the PHP Agency, which I'm extremely grateful for partnering with them a few years ago. And across the country, we're just sharing this message of entrepreneurship, leadership, and financial education, which right now in the country, that's basically lacking in all those three.
Yeah, no, I mean, our country here, the USA, was basically founded on those principles. Small businesses, entrepreneur freedom. That's what a lot of people think entrepreneurship represents. So it's always good to have something on the side, just to know that even if you get laid off from your job, if you have a traditional job, that you can control your own financial destiny. You can control how much is coming in depending on how much work you do. And you guys have different opportunities for people. In addition to educating and helping people with their finances, you're also offering other things as well, correct?
So we first, obviously, we educate the community on financial education, but most people, I mean, anytime you go through a budget, it's like sometimes there's just nowhere to move. There's just, you can't budget anymore, you can't save anything else. And so it's easier to figure out a way to make $1,000 extra a month than to budget $1,000 from your budget. If you're making, 66% of Americans right now earn less than $41,000 a year. What are you going to do with that? Go figure out a way to make $1,000 extra a month, and then we're talking. So we actually represent a company that's offering entrepreneurship opportunities in the financial industry. So while you're working, you can build up your business and really learn the financial industry for yourself and create your own paycheck, because that's really the only way that you can live that American dream that people come here for. Unfortunately, there is no job security. And so whether you have a master's or a PhD, I mean, it doesn't matter what you have or the education background you have, you got to step out and do something for yourself. And so we teach the business skills, the hustle that it takes to be independent, the leadership skills and the financial skills to really set yourself free.
That's one thing I loved about Brittany. I mean, I've seen her speak a few times, and she really has that passion to share her knowledge and to sort of take people along with a ride. And I love that she basically took matters into her own hands. She saw her family or members around her, close friends or people in her network, suffering from what a lot of people go through. Like, I think you had mentioned your father. With the last recession that happened, he lost half of his retirement, and that's what he worked so hard 30-40 years for. And then what happens? Then you're stuck. So basically, she saw this happen a few times, and she said, I don't want this to happen for myself. So very quickly, she was able to find a solution and an escape route, and basically inspire other people to do the same. So thank you so much. If people want to find out more about your opportunities or your services, how would they reach you?
Yes, you can reach me directly on my email. It's B.A. Pelaez, my last name, so B for Brittany, A as in Apple, Pelaez at financialfitnessmovement.com, and our website is financialfitnessmovement.com as well. So you can reach us there. We can talk to you about the opportunity of building a business with us, as well as helping you either get out of debt, credit card debt, student loans, insurance, savings. I mean, you name it, we can help you with.
The retirement, the annuities, like what I learned about. Yeah, they definitely had a wealth of information, and I just thought it was very helpful to have people think about that, because it's sometimes something that we don't really take time to analyze and think about as much as we should. But I really thought it was interesting to see a lot of millennials. You guys are reaching all different sectors of the market, but I was so impressed to see that there were so many young people that were interested in this theme, because, like you said, the typical stuffy person in finance. Like, you usually hear about these things and you don't want to hear about it, but you sort of had such a fresh perspective and such a fresh presentation of these products. I was like, oh, how unique. And
yeah, and it's very fresh is a great word. The CEO of the firm, the PHP Agency, he's a young entrepreneur, awesome example of what our country did for him and his family, because he doesn't come from here either.
Where's he from?
He's from Iran.
Wow.
You know, yeah, and
he's like in his 30s, right?
Yeah, 36 years old. Patrick Bet-David. You can follow him, patrickbetdavid.com as well. You know, 36 years old, built a business from nothing. You know, hated school, hated reading, hated all this stuff, and enlisted in the military. Came back. And now he's extremely passionate about capitalism and what our country really represents, and for people to take advantage of that. You know, it's like we have no limit to who we can be, yet we're settling for a life less than what we can have. And so we're here to set an example that you can have it all. You know, that either or mentality that we've grown up with, like you either have a great relationship or a great business, or you're healthy or you're, you know, no, it's, you can have all of it. You can be healthy, you can have a great business, you can have fulfilling, passionate relationships. You just have to, you know, set yourself up and be disciplined enough to do that. So definitely someone that I'm grateful to be in business with. And across the country, we really want to get America back on its foot, and it needs more entrepreneurs. You know, we
guys were doing a tour or something, right? You expanded so quickly. How many cities? Or
so it's about 26, 27 cities that we're doing. You can follow it on vote1099.com, and it's a national campaign across the country for entrepreneurship, on why we need to become entrepreneurs. Millennials, right? We're 83% of students are graduating without a job. What do you do with that? You know?
And there's 80 million millennials, so
yeah.
It's a crazy market economy, but I guess you guys are teaching skills that would benefit people in any industry.
In any industry. I mean, what's happening in schools today, universities, you're there, you know, what, 4-10 years, you don't learn business skills. So whether you go to law school, you don't learn what it takes to build a practice, the hustle, the mental toughness, you know. So we have, yeah, and so we have what's called an Entrepreneurs Book Club, and every month we all read the same book, and it's on entrepreneurship, leadership, communication. Like we're developing leaders in the country, not just, you know, transactional agents like the traditional industry. And it's fresh. We're 51% Hispanic. We're 54% women in the country, right? Women empowerment, which I love. So it's completely changing the game in terms of getting people back on their feet financially. It's connecting with a lot more people, obviously.
That's very interesting. So thank you for sharing all that great information, and good luck to you all with your money-making skills and with your getting financially fit.
Yes. And so if you need anything, if we can help you with anything, obviously send me an email at bapelaez@financialfitnessmovement.com. And the one tip I'll leave you with, just step out and do something for yourself. I promise you'll build the confidence. Don't ever quit. Don't listen to the naysayers. Just do something for yourself. You'll feel a lot better.
Love it.
Bye.